Hey everyone, welcome to the 135th Mobile Public Affairs Detachment's podcast series, Away from Home. In this series, we're visiting Iowa National Guard veterans and their families to talk about their experiences as citizen soldiers. Hello, I'm Staff Sergeant Sam Hercock with the 135th Mobile Public Affairs Detachment. Today I'm interviewing Scott McConnell and his wife, Shawn-Taylor McConnell.
I had a lot of family in the military. I actually was in senior year of high school when 9/11 happened. Me and about 20 other guys ended up joining the Iowa National Guard after. Went to basic and AIT and got airborne out of it.
But for you, 9/11 then was the
Absolutely.
main motivator?
Absolutely.
Do you have a memory of what you were doing and where you were when that happened?
In senior English and just doing what every kid does in senior English, probably not paying attention. Just remember my teacher turning on the TV. Yeah, we had it back then. It was in color. We ended up watching it the rest of the day.
Yeah, I remember it was kind of similar for me. I was in class and they pulled out the TV on wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And we watched some of it and then they turned it off because my teacher was like, oh, nope, you're not going to see this once the second plane hit. So, yeah, that's always going to be in my mind for sure.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you have anything kind of similar like that?
I was in 4th grade gym class, and next thing I know, my mom actually called the office to pull me out of school because being active duty and being an MP, they got called in on lockdown. She only had so much time to report to base. And of course, I didn't know what was going on. I thought, oh, my mom's pulling me out of school early. Cool. Because we didn't have a TV in there. We were probably playing dodgeball at the time. And so she picked me up. I could tell something was off, but I didn't know. And we went to our home, and one of her best friends was there. And she was watching me, and my mom had to go to base. And she's like, I don't know when I'm coming home. And, being an Army kid, she's said that a few times because, she'd have CQ. Hey, I'm going to be late. Hey, I'm going to be gone a few days because they'd be going into the field. So it wasn't a, oh, what's happening type moment. This was like, okay, this is your military life. I get it. So her friend put a movie on for me in the living room. And I heard, and all of a sudden I just heard her crying in another room. I didn't know what was going on. Went in there. I saw the news. I saw it, but I guess it didn't process. And a few days later, we ended up packing my bags, and I went with her to Iowa. And that's actually how we ended up coming to Iowa. Her unit gave her an option of, hey, you are a single parent, you are a mother, you have this option. You're either going to deploy next week with this unit or to become a recruiter to get people to join.
Did you guys know each other when you were younger, or let's talk about how you guys met?
We both met in Brigade.
Army issued.
Army issued.
He joined the unit in about 2016. I've been with the same unit since 2011. We talked every once in a while, but we didn't really know each other all that well. And then one day, something just clicked, and we really started talking and started doing buddy check-ins. We were both going through some personal stuff, and we were there for each other, and it bloomed into something more.
I don't know what
romance.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you guys both go to XCTC, Exportable Combat Training Capability?
I did. He did not.
XCTC is really a preparation for the real deal for deployment. How does your role there fit into operating with everyone else that was there?
In a way, XCTC prepared us for the team aspect. Absolutely. And I think that'll make things downrange a lot smoother. As a few of us know, that anything can change. The military can change. I will actually be filling multiple shoes on this deployment. I will still be a squad leader for my team, but I will also be the platoon sergeant for our S2 intelligence system.
And then what's your favorite thing about your position?
The people I work with, we're great. We're in sync, we're unison. So when it comes to doing a project or getting something done, we're able to really rely on each other. There's a lot of communication. these last few years have really been a breath of fresh air, being able to get everything down exactly how we need to make everything run smoothly.
Okay, so this goes into talking about preparing for your deployments and time away from your family. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
This will be my second deployment. My first deployment was to Kosovo in 2020, 2021. It was a lot different in a sense that we weren't married yet. The kids weren't living with us full time. The dogs were younger. The last time I was deployed, he was also deployed. That actually worked out really well because we were only an hour time difference. But this time it's going to be a lot different. We have our lifestyle, right? And then you take one person away from that lifestyle and life keeps going. And then we're going to have to come back and get back into a rhythm.
From our last deployment, we found, we'd have movie date nights. We all have Xboxes, so we'd play, games together. We just make it work, make sure that we make time for each other.
Mm-hmm. So how we did that was we would both get on to FaceTime with each other, and then we'd start a movie at the exact same time. But what's funny is obviously the internet's not the same over there. So we'd be watching our movies, and then one of us would be like, oh, we're buffering. Okay, pause, make sure. And then we try to, this is before we found out that there's actually a website where you can share with someone and it would go at the exact same time. So if one side was buffering, it actually paused the whole movie. We didn't know about that just yet, so trying to do movie night was, it was pretty funny. At times it was kind of rough, but it was pretty funny.
So you already have kind of an idea of how it's going to go in terms of communication for you guys over there?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whether it's somebody, when you wake up, it's, hey, beautiful, how you doing? Or, I hope you slept well, whatever. It's just those constant messages, those constant reminders that we're there for each other, because that's by far, I've been to Iraq, I've been to Afghanistan. I get, you've got people around you, but that can also be a lonely time too. Mm-hmm. Especially when you're taken out of, your family element and put into a deployment. It's definitely one of those things that you have to step up, as a spouse, husband and wife, and make sure that communication and that love is constantly there.
We would always make sure that we would actually make a little video so for the other person to wake up to. So when he woke up in the mornings, there would be a video from me saying, hey, this is how my day went. I miss you. I love you. And then vice versa. He would do the same for me and be able to wake up to that. And it was always a great start to the morning when you get that video and it's like, oh, so.
Is there anything that you think that you've learned from past deployments or past experiences being away that you're going to do differently here in this one?
For me, it's going to be completely different because I'm not the one gone. So,
so what's that like?
I don't know. So, you just, whatever that looks like, whether it's, being part of the FRG or, helping other families the family readiness group. Being there for other families that have never experienced this, because there's going to be a lot of those. I know there's, some of our hurt soldiers that have never deployed, and I'm sure their family will have lots of questions. Sometimes when you're deployed, you don't have the opportunity to talk. I'll probably open up my phone and say, hey, if anybody's struggling back here, please give me a call. When you're a leader, you have to lead, and whether that's your soldiers or other people that, just have questions.
Well, and it's also got to be nice to have somebody who has experience being deployed, for a family member to be able to speak to and kind of understand from that perspective as well. So,
absolutely.
I think that's admirable to be willing to do that in your new role, staying back.
Army wife. No, I'm kidding.
Couldn't cut this out, but I'm a dependent.
I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about it, but is the upcoming deployment affecting your lives like right now in any way?
We feel it every month. It's getting closer.
Anticipation.
It's anticipation. It's a lot more, well, crap, I'm going to miss you. We say that a lot more now than...
Yeah, spur moment trips. Spend time with the boys as a family, before she hits the trail. It's not our first rodeo, but it's different. That's realistically, as a couple, we've been through quite a bit. So, deployments and things. So it's just, no matter what, as a spouse of somebody deploying, it's just, again, making sure that love is there and making sure that, the spouse knows that.
And then on another note too, thankfully we have teenage kids. So one thing we're also feeling is making sure, so we have a 16-year-old, we're making sure that he's going to be comfortable and ready to drive. They both have busy schedules, and like they're feeling it in a sense of they're going to have to pick up some slack without two parents around all the time. So they're going to have to kind of step up a little more. I think they're feeling it a little harder than we are at the moment.
It's going to be different for them as well now because they understand, they're older and they understand a little more about why you have to go and what the point is, that kind of thing.
Yeah, a little bit.
So our youngest, I was actually in Afghanistan when he was born. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I watched that on Skype. Yeah, so he knows that. They understand. They've lived this life since they were born. Just all the training, whether it's deployments or schools or whatever, the extended time that a parent's gone, they understand that. And they're thankful for every time they get with us. So it kind of gives them perspective that I guess a lot of, individuals don't have.
Have past experiences and past deployments helped you with your ability to prepare for, what's coming? For you, it's new, just to not be the one going.
Yeah, it's one of those things, you don't know what you don't know. Having your best friend be there, day in and day out, and just being able to catch up with them, as soon as you get home or, whenever that is, and you're like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Oh, hey, I've got to work late. Can you take Angelo my son, to, one of his school functions? And now I have to do it all by myself.
Has it ever been flip-flopped where he's gone and you're here?
So our last deployment was a little bit like that, but not in that sense. When I left for Kosovo, I left in September, and he didn't deploy to Iraq until February. I got home first, and then he didn't come home until a few months later. So, and of course, unfortunately, since it was during COVID, we actually didn't see each other for a year and a half because they weren't allowing leave or anything like that. Yeah. The only way they were allowing leave was extreme emergency purposes.
What kind of changes have you both experienced in your daily life and relationship leading up to JRTC?
Well, turns out he just found out like a month or two ago that his unit's also going to JRTC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we were coming off of the mission that I previously told you about, and we are going to, is it the Joint Readiness Training Center? The unit that I'm in, it's a composite supply company, or a CSC, and there's very limited number throughout the military. So we're very special in certain ways, and we are tasked a lot, which is great for the soldiers, but it's one of those things that, when JRTC comes up, we're kind of told, not necessarily last minute, but, 9 months out, there's a lot of heavy lifting that we have to do. So I'd say for me, it's gotten a lot busier, getting all the soldiers prepared, the equipment, and luckily because of the mission we're on, we're fairly close to being there. It's just shifting fire in a different way and different trainings that we have to complete before we go.
Now, the thing I personally like about the upcoming training is because we're both going, I will be able to see him before we leave or before he leaves back for Iowa. To me, it's one of those like silver linings, like I get to see you one more time.
So for me, realistically, the last 2 years have been kind of a whirlwind, with her playing football and to know your schedule. We have a schedule on the back of our door that's updated with everything, different colors. So I have to learn how to do that, or I'm going to be SOL. I'm not going to spell that one out.
I'm the organizer in here. I'm just
yeah.
saying.
So Just being able to do, being able to step up and do those things. I'm sure I will probably have a mild panic attack at some point, and
Don't
call
worry,
her.
I have a plan. I'll write out your calendar while I'm gone and send
The
it to you.
calendar is messed up. It's not going well.
But no, as a team, it's one of those things that, again, I'm gonna have to learn to pick up some of the things that she does so well.
We pick up each other's slack. That's really how it is. Like with him being a first sergeant, he's gone to a lot of conferences. He has a lot of things he has to leave for sometimes. So when he's gone, I pick up the slack back home. I take care of the kids and the things back home, and then vice versa. If I'm gone for my civilian job, because I'm a contractor, I go to different states to train units.
I would say outside of the home, though. She's actually asked me several leadership questions. Soldiers like, hey, this person's asking about this. What do you know about it? When we were friends, before we even started even thinking about being in a relationship, I was a digital master gunner and battle staff at Brigade and making things happen. And so she doing what she does, we interacted a lot, and but being able to then, after I left, she ended up becoming a digital master gunner, and just being able to bounce those questions off and saying, hey, this is what it is, this is what you do, being able to do this, just going down that whole rabbit hole of what you need to make happen professionally has definitely helped us both out, because I still ask her questions. Nobody knows everything, and if you say you do, you're wrong and you're going to get somebody hurt. But it's one of those things that just professionally, personally, we bounce so much off of each other, and being able to have that open communication has been very empowering to our relationship. So,
Yeah, that's a really unique thing about dual military, is you can kind of share some of your knowledge and specialty and help each other grow professionally as well.
Be a part of the family readiness group. That all the information that comes out of that is very, very helpful, and things happen. Being away for 9 months, a year, however long it is, you definitely need somebody else to be there and support. So I would say that's having a good family readiness group is, and making sure those communications are going out a lot is probably one of the biggest things that a family member can do.
Thank you for listening to the 135th MPAD's podcast series, Away from Home. If you enjoyed hearing this story, make sure to check out more of our content on Facebook and Instagram.